Hello there, welcome to Talking Balearics with me, Martin Makepeace here. In a very dull Ibiza today, actually, Richie, very dull indeed.
Me, Richie Brighton, Mallorca, which is, it's so nice, the weather. I even cheered when the rain came this morning. It was great.
Has it been raining, has it? No, it hasn't rained
here.
Yeah,
we had a bit of rain. We've had a bit of rain today. Tuesday is obviously our day today, so it's been raining today. I think the temperature's going to rise again, but it's actually quite nice to, sit on the terrace and
nice to have a bit of respite.
Sweating.
Yeah.
Yes.
How are you, Richie?
I'm very well, Mark. Very good. Very good. Very busy.
Recovered from the you-know-what?
Great game. Thoroughly enjoyed it.
What a game. Well,
I say thoroughly enjoyed it. I didn't see it. My son had a friendly match at the weekend. So I know you were texting me. And so I did watch most of it when I got home on playback. So.
And how is Mallorca in general, Rich?
Mallorca in general is okay, Mark. I mean, there's a lot of reports in the papers right now, the normal paper talk. They've got nothing else to talk about. And, they're saying that Mallorca's empty and, there's nobody here and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I interviewed the mayor of Calvia on my radio show on Monday, Juan Antonio Amengual. He's been in power now just over 2 years. He's got 2 more years to go. And he said, look, we are in a situation where obviously, the tourism phobia thing has had an impact because it has a negative impact. But we have to remember that we've had about 3 or 4 record years, and so we're sort of looking at things from a record point of view, if that makes sense. And then when you see the numbers are down, so they might be down 3 or 5%. Well, it's still up on what it used to be. And as I said to you before, particularly we talked quite a lot about Magaluf and how Magaluf has changed over the last few years on a positive note. And he's very happy. And he said, look, the thing is with Spain, which we all probably know this, those of us that lived in Spain quite a long time, is I said, look, you've got 2 more years to go. He says, it's just not enough time. No. He says, everything is very slow here. It doesn't happen overnight. So I sort of mooted whether he'd be coming back and trying to get re-elected in 2027. And he sort of seems to think he will. Well, obviously, his own party voted him back in again, of course. But so we'll see. So all in all, Mark, I think Mallorca's still in a positive place. I don't see it negatively. I'm looking at all these reports thinking, oh, God, go away.
But isn't it always the same, Richie, this time of year? Because we touched on it last week, didn't we? I mean, as you say, after the COVID record years, the post-COVID record years, I think we can only look down. We couldn't actually get any busier, could we?
No, not really. And, I saw something else in the paper, I think it was today or yesterday, that, residents are up in arms and leaving. It's too expensive, etc. They're going to the mainland. Yeah, fair enough. I mean, look, I know people that have gone to the mainland and said, look, what you can pick up, property-wise on the mainland is very different to what you can pick up here. That is the truth. But,
But it's always happened.
So many people want to come here, Mark.
Yeah, but it's always happened that way, Rich. When you come to your end of your time on the islands, you look to the mainland because you can get a nice house for half the price, can't you? Anyway, mate, this is Talking Balearics. We're going to be joined. I think we're going to be joined by Dwayne Nolan very shortly. I mean,
really, it's not stuck on the A1 wherever waiting for whatever it is, the RAC these days or whatever it is.
Until he's actually on the line, I'm never quite sure with Dwayne because he leads such a busy life. Obviously,
yeah, he does.
He's going to update us with a mid-season report on the clubbing activities in Ibiza. Until then, what have you got for me, Rich?
Well, it's something that I wanted to talk about because I've talked about the mayor already, but it's something that I noticed or have noticed. I've been back to the UK for the last 2 times, and it was a sort of a word to the wise, if it were, for us, particularly residents that live here going back to the UK. A couple of things that I've noticed that are different to the last few times I've travelled, so I wanted to bring that up.
Intriguing, Rich. Intriguing.
Yes.
Is that with a view for residents or people coming on holiday?
Yeah,
what is it view of? Yeah.
It's more for us going back to the UK, actually, to be perfectly honest, rather than people coming here.
You're good at that, aren't you? You're good at picking up on those things as well, aren't you? Very good.
Well, yeah. Let's see.
No, the man in the know. I've got a couple of things, Rich. I've got. Just leading on from what you've just said there about the mayor and Magaluf, which we've talked about as well, there's been a little report out which I want to talk about family tourism, which I know is a bit of a hot potato for you guys over there. And also I've got this really thing that's doing my head in. I know that's not a very politically correct way of saying it, but about this report, I think I sent it to you, didn't I? That the Ibiza government are going to commission a report, which I'll talk to you about, which I just can't get my head around it. But I understand it. Is it politics? Is it posturing? I don't know. But I want to talk to you about that as well. So, yeah, a couple of things there before we bring Dwayne in.
So listen, I've been back to the UK for the last few weeks, a couple of times, and I don't know if you're the same as me, Mark, but I get a yearly insurance policy. If I'm hiring cars, I buy a year's insurance policy over here. It costs me somewhere around about 75, 80 euros, I think, something like that for the whole year, which means when I go to the car hire places, I don't have to pay, because obviously most car hire companies charge you give you third party within the package that they give you, and then they charge you an extra if you want a full insurance. So by doing that, normally within the first sort of two rentals that I do, I normally save the same amount of money that I would obviously every time I would have to pay. Now, obviously, which is fine, and that's a question they always ask you. But I have noticed a few things that have changed over the course of the last couple of years. What noticeably one is the excess charge has gone up. Used to be around about 1,000 euros, and now it's 1,500 euros. They're trying obviously to scare you into saying, well, you have to pay 1,500 euros up front if you do have an accident, etc., etc. Yes, I do. Yeah, I get that. But obviously, it's money I will get back eventually from the insurance that I've taken out. And then one thing that's really intrigued me the last couple of times is that normally they take you out to your car, don't they? They show you around the car. They point out any damages. They show you how the car works, etc., etc. Well, for the last two times, and this is with two different companies, so it's not the same company. I won't mention the companies just in case I get in any trouble. But they have sort of given me the key and said, okay, it's parked out there in Bay, whatever it is. Make sure you do photos or a video of the car before you get in it to point out any damages. So I'm thinking to myself, oh, that's interesting. You know what I mean? They're not actually now pointing out the damages. You have to point them out to them. It's just so really, it goes back to the Ryanair thing again with their old administration. You're actually doing the job for them. But if you don't do the job properly, yeah, then you're going to get caught out here. Yeah. So, and I was thinking to myself, what happens if it's dark or if it's piddling with rain? And you don't want to be out there, taking photos of this and videos of that if it's raining, or if it's in the dark, you're never going to see it anyway, are you? Do you know what I mean?
There's so many horror stories online. If you look at the groups online, especially Facebook, and the problem is with all these low-cost car rental places now, they all want to sting you for the insurance, don't they? So if you play that card, which you do, Richie, I've got the year-long insurance, they're almost looking to catch you out, aren't they?
Well, totally. But Mark, what can I just say? These aren't low-cost car rental companies. These are the top boys.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm talking the ABCs, the budgets, the Hertz of the world. Do you know what I mean? These are the top boys that are doing this. It's not a low rental one. And so I've sort of noticed that. And I put my bag on the passenger seat. I think the first one I did, drove off. Stopped at some shops or something to get something, and as I picked my bag up, noticed that the whole seat was covered in obviously someone had spilled a drink over it or something, and I had noticed it obviously. So I'm thinking, I'm going to get charged for that now because obviously I hadn't taken a picture of it. But the time I left the car hire place, well, they didn't make anything of it, to be honest. Afterwards,
but it's the stress of it, though, Rich, isn't it? I mean, over the years, I've paid third party, I've paid fully comp. You know what I do now, Rich? I pay everything. It's smart insurance, whatever. I just pay everything because I can't be doing with the stress of it. Because I get it about those year-long insurance policies. However, I just think insurance don't want to pay. So if you're going to put 1,500 euros up front on your card, it's just a risk, isn't it? I mean, I just pay the money. Probably more for me, but I just pay the money.
Yeah, but you've got loads of money, Mark. You don't care. You're talking to I'm talking to the man in the street. You know what I mean? I'm not talking to the people that go to VIP and O Beach and Universe and everything else. I'm talking to the man in the street.
Is that your win? Is that your wins for the day? The car hire insurance there. God,
yeah. You understand that? Yeah, our demographic of people ain't where you're going. Although they are actually. I've met a few of them actually in O Beach, haven't you? I've just remembered.
Absolutely. I mean, also, it's the last twice I've rented a car as well. Just to back up what you've just been telling me, they've said the same thing to me. Take a video of your car and send it to us. And I'm like, okay, this is a little bit fishy. I mean, I've had no problems because I've been fully comp, but at the end of the day, you're always slightly concerned. And it's just that one bump. I remember I got done for €600 once on a bump, which I never knew anything of. And they charged me €600. But, you pay your money, you take your chance. My recommendation, Rich, is just pay the fully comp and just shop around, because you can get decent car hire deals.
Oh, no, you do find good deals. I'll be honest with you. If you do shop around, you do find good deals. I'm just of the ilk that, I'll pay that. I'll pay that yearly insurance, Mark. I'll take me chances.
That's because you squeak when you walk, Rich. That's why.
Well, exactly. But I'm a good driver as well. You know what I mean? So there you go.
I'm neither of the above, me. No, Rich, what you just said there about the mayor of Magaluf was interesting, actually, because that's a really good pathway into what my first story of the day. Now, there's a report that's come up, and this is the most obvious thing in the world. It's saying from the PIMEF, which I don't know if you know what PIMEF is. It's the Association of Small and Medium Size companies on the island. Business, exactly. Yeah. And their president has said that basically the Ibiza business model has chased away families. Okay. Now, I mean, also he could have just added that the sky's the blue and the sun rises and sets on the same day, because he really is, for want of a better expression, stating the bleeding obvious. Now, we all know that Ibiza, I'm going to blog about it this week because I'm so annoyed about this. Is that
you can't tell?
You've had your whinge about car hire. I'm going to have my whinge about this, and I haven't got a problem with the way Ibiza's gone. A lot of people do. They say we don't want families. I think I said on the show last week, we don't want families. It's pertinently obvious that Ibiza's moved away from that market, and the families that there are in all-inclusive units scattered over the island, like Port d'Estorens and Calatrava. And as you know, all-inclusive units are great, but they're not very good for the local economy, are they? Which is fair enough. Totally. Which is fair enough. Listen, that's the market, and I get it. We've both had young families. We know what all-inclusives are all about. It does make sense. Now he's coming out saying that the business model for Ibiza has turned away families. Of course it has. Now we're in this situation where all these family hotels have now turned into these very nice boutique, bougie places where it's got a big sign on the website saying adults only. There you go. So, what do they expect now? I don't know what he's trying to achieve by bringing this to the fore. I think what he's saying, again, it goes on with what you said last week. He's in part talking about the restaurants. Now, you said last week, didn't you, Rich, that the restaurants in Magaluf are struggling?
Well, no, it's struggling across the whole of the island, apparently.
Yeah. In Mallorca in general, sorry, yeah.
Exactly. It depends. I think it depends on the area. Do you know what I mean? Some areas were down about 40%, other areas not. Other areas were up. But, this was quite a big report that came out to say that they were struggling. And interesting enough, Mike, you say that. There's another report come out this week from the Menorca Tourist Accommodation company, claimed that the expansion of all-inclusive holidays has caused a decline in tourist spending on the island. This is Menorca we're talking about now, which we don't obviously talk about that often. Hotel beds are the only thing that has grown in recent years, unlike any other options, such as licensed tourist accommodation, which has been a standstill since 2022. Yeah. Which model is more attractive, he says? The one that comes from a tour operator to an establishment that covers all the needs, or another that simply offers accommodation so that tourists can go and shop, eat and have fun and spend their investment, or they spend their money in investing in businesses in Menorca. He makes a fair point, but I think likewise there's two sides to both stories. One, I think both can work together. Yeah. You just need them to have obviously an even playing field together, so they can work together. And I think I'm for both, because without doubt the growth of all-inclusive holidays has been massive, particularly because a lot of people obviously have been to far-off destinations like the Caribbean or Cancun or wherever it is that do have these things, and it has sort of seeped its way into Europe. So there are people that want this. So there's
a market for it, Rich, and I get it, especially for families, and I do get it. However, saying that all-inclusive is not good for the economy is probably, well, it is and it isn't. I get it. It's not good for the local environment because people don't leave the hotel, but you are getting people on the island. So car hires winning, flights are winning, hotels are winning.
Providers into the hotels are winning. Yeah, do you know what I mean? Listen, there are a lot more things that go than just basically the fact they get all inclusive. Yeah, but basically what they're saying is restaurants and bars are struggling, but that's just the way of the world anyway. So I kind of, as you said, there's three sides to every story, and I get it now. Now, it's interesting you said a report, because it's going to lead me into my next whinge. Okay, now, are you ready for this one? Because I think today.
My head might fall off. Now, the Ibiza government are they're going to commission a report because they want to move away from the reputation that Ibiza's only here for nightlife and bars and drinking and fun, basically. So they're going to commission a report which is going to cost them over 600,000 euros, Rich, by the way. And the report is going to look at ways where they can advertise Ibiza, promote Ibiza in different ways, just apart from the leisure tourism. Now, I mean, I think after what happened in COVID, where we couldn't have the club, where we didn't have any clubs or didn't have any dancing for 2 years, we saw exactly what that meant to the island. And I think it just reset everybody. Now, I mean, Rich, people's memories that short that we saw it with our own eyes exactly what happened to the island, which was basically it was a lovely place. It was a nirvana of a place, but there was no USP. It became like Sardinia or Corsica or somewhere like that, where it was just a place with nice beaches. What we have got is world-class leisure facilities like clubs and beach clubs and things like that. Now, what I don't like about it is I always feel that the Conseil and the government are pushing back against the leisure industry. That's what I don't like. Rather than embracing it and saying, listen, we're very lucky to have this industry. We're a world leader. Ibiza is a world leader in nightlife and leisure. And when I mean leisure, I mean day clubs and nightclubs and restaurantation and things like that. And restaurant, that's the Spanish word for it. So
that's
sorry, mate. Restaurants and culinary. I just think it's just a knee-jerk reaction because the clubs are so powerful now, Rich. I can't tell you how powerful the clubs are. And of course they are, because they're world-class. That's what happens. Now, we've touched on it before that, unfortunately, there is collateral damage happens when you go down that area. But unfortunately, that's what happens. Now, for them to commission a report, and I'll tell you what the report's going to tell us, Rich. It's going to tell us what we know already, that we need to promote. Come on, go on, Rich. Let's have a guess. Sport, food, culture, heritage, dancing. It's going to tell us all of the above. I don't honestly think it needs a 600,000 euro report to tell us what's staring us in the face already. Now, surprise, surprise, the head of the Ocio Ibiza, which is like the nighttime community, a guy called, I think his name's Jose Luis or Juan Luis Benitez. He's pushed back straight away and he's come up with a great tagline. Rich, you know what the tagline is? We don't want to become like Menorca. That's what he said. Now, with the greatest will to our brothers and sisters on the other Balearic Island, of course, we'll never become like Menorca. But I thought that was a bit cutting. We don't want to become like Menorca. But I do get the sentiment. You've got to embrace the nighttime activities. You can't push against them all the time. And I think it's a knee-jerk reaction because the nighttime sector is just getting so strong, Rich. It really is. But because it's world class, it's as simple as that. Anyway, there's my little rant for the day.
Well, I think also that, they talk about diversification and everything else. I think that Ibiza has diversified itself, particularly as you mentioned a bit earlier on, with day clubs. It's a big thing. It's a massive thing. I mean, probably I can't think of a more successful business than O Beach, really, to be perfectly honest.
Yeah. No.
I mean, that business has grown, unbelievably over the last 5 years.
What's happened? It showed the way, because then you've got these other places like Clap House, which we talked about last week, which is a day club. You've got Soho Farmhouse, which is going to be a daytime venue as well. So what it's done is it's led the way. O Beach is just an example. It's probably the first big daytime venue here, event place, where everyone's going, hold on a minute, we want a piece of that as well. And also O Beach doesn't cater every bit of market. It's probably that British happy-go-lucky market, whereas Clap House will go probably for the more upper class. Soho Farmhouse will go middle class as well. So there's a market for everyone. As soon as they see that the nighttime sector and the daytime clubbing sector going strong, they will order a report. It's going to cost 600,000, and it's a load of nonsense. There you go.
Yeah, and I think you've hit the nail on the head earlier that you are what you are because you are Ibiza. You are the night time or the day stroke nighttime venue for adults only. Minorca is an island that's a quieter island. It's a great destination for families. Beautiful. And Mallorca basically is in between. And we are, if you look at the map, we are in between. So we are. Yeah. Both families and both young as well. The south, where is Ibiza? The south of us, Ibiza, which is adults. The north of us is Minorca, is families, and we're in the middle, and so we cater for both. Yeah, do you know what I mean? So, if you actually look at it,
you're the whole scale big time tourism. You always have. I mean, back in the day when we worked for the holiday industries, you mentioned Mallorca. You're the big boys over there because you're massive. It's a bit like Tenerife. When I went there, I couldn't believe how many hotels. Every time I go to Mallorca, I'm like blown away by hotels. But also, don't forget Formentera, Rich, which is your top end. I mean, top
beautiful
end beach resort. It's got the most expensive hotels in the whole of Spain. It's got the most expensive real estate in the whole of Spain. Do the maths yourself. So, I mean, the beauty of the Balearic Islands is we're so lucky to live in this place because we really we tick all the boxes, don't we?
Yeah, I agree. Totally.
Make me dance.
I'd like to welcome onto the Talking Balearics podcast today, Mr. Dwayne Nolan. How are you, Dwayne?
How are we? I'm very good. Thank you.
Sorry,
Dwayne, how's that puncher last week? Was it all right?
Oh, don't even talk to me. Honestly, someone's out to get me.
So listen, we thought it'd be a good idea to catch up with you. We're sort of pretty much slightly over the halfway point of the season, but there was lots of things that we wanted to talk to you about. One in particular that I noticed from Mallorca, when we sort of talked about Universe opening up and everything else, and how much competition there would be out there and who we thought would possibly struggle. I noticed a video online the other day from Amnesia that was totally empty of people. Well, it had people in it, but it wasn't like what Amnesia should be. Is that the club that's really suffering right now?
I don't know. It's hard to say. I had a conversation with one of the residents at Amnesia, and he says it's getting better and better by week. I think for me is something that a lot of people didn't understand or maybe didn't think about is the impact that someone like Oasis has had on Ibiza for especially the British culture. You know, they've sold over 1.2 million tickets, and I feel, I don't know about you, Martin, but it's definitely had an impact on July.
Yeah, 100%.
But now I'm feeling like
that's interesting.
I'm getting a lot more inquiries than I did last month in the last week for just people asking questions. So I think a lot of people have probably chose to go to Oasis over coming to Ibiza, and you can't really put it into, oh yeah, Oasis is rock and roll and it's not the same audience. It's a pretty much once in a lifetime gig. So if 1.2 people across Ireland, Scotland, Wales and England, I don't know how to say, because I haven't been to Amnesia as often. From the videos, obviously Universe has had a massive impact. I've been there a lot this last couple of weeks. Huge numbers going in there 7 days a week. A lot of people said they would pull it off, but they seem to be pulling it off so far.
Dwayne, when you're looking at the clubs in general, who surprised you the most? I'm surprised that Universe has managed to maintain 7 nights a week. But apart from Universe, which I think is the big newbie, and it's kind of surprised a few people how well it's gone. What about the other clubs? Who's doing well apart from Universe?
Well, surprisingly, the one that obviously I'm going to say is we all expected High to take a dip, but judging by the numbers that's going in there, you know, a lot of new residents that people didn't think were worthy of residence just from the talk, but they seem to have pulled it off and they seem to be running like clockwork again in 7 days. 5 to 8, I personally wasn't too sure that, or you were there yourself.
Yeah.
Based on the videos, I didn't expect them to be running as often as they have with what looks like super successful. I went the other night, but I caught the tail end of it.
Yeah, I mean, 5 to 8 has been really successful, hasn't it? Which just to explain, 5 to 8 is a sister venue of Pikes, and Pikes has become so successful. They've opened up this. It's mainly daytime, but it goes over into a club, I think, until 4 a.m. And it's an older crowd, Dwayne, isn't it? And it's really they're pulling in the old names. And I mean that in the nicest possible way, but even you might recognise a few of those names, Richie. I mean, it's not Shalimar, but it's a few of the old names. Also, my son works on the door there, so he tells me which days are busy and which not. And he told me basically the Sunday that's just gone, Dwayne, I think it was a brunch time thing, was just ridiculous. It was no guest list. It's literally full. You know, thousands of people. I mean, it's quite surprising how well 5 to 8 has done.
Yeah, no, fair play to them. I honestly didn't expect it. I didn't know, because it didn't seem as if they put so much marketing into it. It was quite of a late announcement. And everything, like you said, I popped up there the other night and your son was actually on the door who let me in. Oh God, I feel old. I was like, yeah.
Just drop my name, Dwayne. He'll let you in. Don't worry.
Yeah.
Charge you double.
And you've probably been out and about more than me. I mean, O Beach is obviously just 7 days a week. It seems to be unstoppable at the moment. Obviously, Ushuaia, again, I don't think there's a quiet night there. Clockwork Orange was incredible. I thought it was a great weekend. Didn't really get around to doing too many videos, but Clockwork always is. It's a standout event.
For the older clubbers, Clockwork as well as Slip Back in Time. I mean, Clockwork really does work really well, doesn't it? I was there a couple of days, and it nights it was fantastic. What about? I mean, Rich has touched on Amnesia. But, I mean, I didn't believe that video. I've got to tell you, when I saw the video, I mean, I'm sure you saw it as well, Dwayne. I mean, it could have been taken at 11:30 at night, couldn't it? That video, you don't really know unless you're there. The Amnesia video.
I was there on Wednesday night at Amnesia, and it was a full house for Resistance. And I haven't been to many other events. And like I bumped into one of the residents on a Monday there just about an hour ago, and he said week by week it's getting better. We're building something. You know, it's always going to be that way. And I think for everybody in Ibiza has said July has been pretty much awful.
It's been tough, hasn't it? It's been really tough, hasn't it? July. I think because April, May, and early June was so good, I think it's just tailed off. But it's interesting what you said about Oasis there, Dwayne, because I've never considered that. But it's almost like the festival season, isn't it? So it's interesting.
You had Glastonbury, and I don't really think a Glastonbury crowd, it will have an impact, but nowhere really. The people that I know, a lot of people have decided, we're not coming to Ibiza maybe until September because we paid for tickets to go see Oasis. That's maybe a 3-day weekender for most people. Hotel prices in Manchester, Edinburgh, Dublin, where else were they? Wales, Cardiff. I'm doing 7 shows in Wembley.
Yeah.
Don't quote me on that, but a lot of people that are clubbers will have chose to go to Oasis because it pretty much is once in a lifetime sort of thing.
At the start of the season, when you were on before, Dwayne, I remember saying that you thought Resistance would do well at Amnesia. I can remember that. What's the other night that's really surprised you in Ibiza this year? The night that's done probably better than you thought it would do, and what's the big breakout?
I thought, well, talking about Wednesdays with Resistance going up against Paradise over at Universe, I wasn't too sure if the Paradise crowd would go for Universe, but as far as I know, that it's been a packed out event. So that one kind of took me by surprise. Again, going back to the 528 ones, totally, I didn't see that one coming. I thought maybe they were going to do a handful of events throughout the summer, but it seems to be doing 2 or 3 a week, is it?
I think they're doing 4 a week now at the moment. Yeah. So, and it's, I mean, Richie, 528, Rich, because it used to be Fantasyland and Gala Night back in your day, Rich. So, there you go.
All right, Mark. All right.
That's gone back. I can vaguely remember the Galaland stickers on the wall, but it was always Benamousse.
Benamousse Park. So, I mean, 528 used to be where we did the excursions back in the day, Rich. So, it's still some of the same.
Right. How do you feel, Martin, towards, you've been down around the Sunset Strip a lot more than me. What's the sort of vibe down there? Is it still relatively busy?
Yeah, I've been down there. I've been down there quite a lot, Dwayne. Good question. And I think the vibe is that Cafe Del Mar is busy, Mambo's busy, Mint is busy. I think going round Golden Buddha's busy as well. Is it as busy as last year? I couldn't really say. I don't think it's a noticeably busier, but I think it's very similar to previous years. But I just get the feeling that it tails off a bit early. I think people are going to clubs. So I think, the sunset happens and it seems to empty out very quickly. Mambo still have some really good names on, so they tend to keep a crowd there. But if you notice, Cafe Del Mar and Mint tend to filter out quite early.
When people say to me, Ibiza's over based on the sunset videos, etc., I think you got to factor in, like, when I first came here 15 years ago, generally what you could only do was go and watch the sunset or jump on a boat party. But now you got Destino, 528, Ushuaia, Ibiza Rocks, O Beach. How many people's not going to the Sunset Strip? So they're there, but they're just not going there. Yeah, no, it's quite tough. I mean, the problem is, Rich, we've touched on it before, is that how do you fit all the things into a 3-day holiday? Because that's what people, or 4-day holiday, that's what people are coming over for. So Dwayne, before we wrap it up, give us your views on what to look out for in the last half of the season. What do you think's going to really go club-wise? What's going to be successful, and what we keep an eye on? I think we'll probably see a big switch in terms of the numbers coming over. So that'll be exciting to see how things are going to go. I really believe that the Oasis thing has had an impact. In terms of events, everyone's going to have that curiosity, and they are going to be wanting to do the Universe experience. But I know on Sunday night on Amnesia, the boys were saying that you couldn't move in there. It was like fully stacked lineup. If they continue to do that, then the likes of the East End Dubs and all their events, Max Dean's a big name at the moment. Amnesia have him wrapped up. I think they'll really start to push for the coming weeks. And then as the crowd starts to get older, there'll probably be a switch over to, there'll be a mix up of the clubs. I know a lot of Americans are here. You know, when I've been in and around, especially in university, just around Ibiza town today, the most common accent I seem to hear is Americans. And like you said, I was speaking to, you know, Tony up in Thomas's in San Antonio, and he was having a little bit of rant yesterday. He said, Dwayne, if I put free beer on the board, the people still wouldn't come because they're only coming for the 3 days and they kind of know what they're doing.
Yeah, no, we've touched on that a few times. Before you go, Dwayne, we've not mentioned about Pasha. Pasha's still strong, isn't it?
Pasha seems to be going strong. Yeah, I've been there a few nights. I really enjoyed the camel fat night. The fact it's been good. I think they'd probably all be a bit happy for bigger numbers. I think every club will probably say that.
I did speak to a couple of guys from Amnesia, and they said that Universe has really affected them, which we always knew it would. It just depended how it would affect them.
What shocked me was like just walking around the towns as 2 weeks ago. It was very ghostly around San Antonio and around Ibiza town, but today I've never seen it so busy. Now the weather has had a knock-on effect on that today.
Yeah,
you can't get moving. But I think on everybody in Ibiza, they feel like the summer hasn't started, which is quite scary. And I know for me, I've probably had more interest this week on anything I do than I have for the last 3 months, which we've only got 2 months left, really. Or
I was going to ask you, I mean, it sounds a bit strange now, but the closing parties, I mean, you know, I think last year or the last couple of years, they've been a bit later than normal, haven't they? Will that happen again this year, you think?
Yeah. I think a lot of the closing parties are up until mid-October. There will be a few spell-offs. They'll have the closing party and then they'll have their other closing party and see how long they can push it. And a lot of the beach clubs will probably go to November, your Nassau's, I'd imagine. It's a weird summer. I thought it was going to be a massive year. And I think statistically there is probably still more people coming to the island, but it's just such a switch up. I've been going to restaurants that are you know, you would expect to be fully booked and seeing five tables in there. And then the next night you might not even get in there. And even the staff have been going, one night we're dead, one night we're, you know, there's no prediction. I think everyone that has a restaurant in Ibiza town says the same.
There's no rhyme or reason, is there? Listen, Dwayne, thanks a lot for your time, mate. Really appreciate it, buddy.
Yeah, okay, thanks, Dwayne.
Boys. No problem. Take care.
Appreciate it. Take care.
Did you understand any of that, by the way?
Nah, you know me, mate. No,
yeah. No, it's interesting. It's what we said though, Rich. I think July has been challenging. I think it's been really challenging. If you notice, all that early season optimism seems to have gone out the window already.
Yeah, and the Oasis thing was actually a good shout. I think it's, you know, it's quite possibly true.
Yeah, no, it is.
Interesting to see if that market comes back, particularly in August, because obviously August is well known for being quite expensive.
I can't see it. I think August is going to continue to be quiet, but I think there's going to be a lot of businesses out there, Rich, that need a busy September. Really need. And if it doesn't happen, then I fear the worst. But let's be positive and say September. If you're thinking about coming to Ibiza, come over in September, because for me personally, it's my favourite month of the year.
Yeah, totally. All right, Mark.
Right, Rich. Thanks, mate. Always good. Good to speak to you, mate. And we didn't even talk about Lionesses, but I suppose we've already spoken about them, haven't we? So
well, we have. Yeah, we did it. They did well.
Fantastic. All right, mate. I'll speak to you soon.
See you, mate. Take care.
Cheers, Rich.
Make me dance.